Hi Pisces, welcome to 8 of Cups Tarot. Welcome to your cards for January. Guys, I'm really sorry I'm probably not going to appear in the video for the next couple of videos. I am still recovering from COVID, which apparently also comes with extremely dry, irritated skin. So, sorry about that. Hopefully everything will be back to normal very soon. I've heard from a lot of people that have gone through this that it takes several weeks to kind of get back to normal. So I'm just allowing myself to do what I need to do to feel comfortable and yet still get these messages out to you guys without it being February. So congratulations on making it past 2020. I can feel such a sigh of relief from so many people. Pisces, because you're a mutable sign, this year might be a little bit better for you, and you have actually a lot to look forward to. My mutable signs are going to have a somewhat productive and not so heavy year this year. That being said, we are moving into the setup for 2021, which is a Saturn-Uranus square. Now, pretty interesting for you, being it's your 12th house squaring your 3rd house. There's definitely a higher vibrational interpretation of this energy and a low vibrational interpretation of this energy. Guys, a lot of times the 12th house can talk about our undoing, our self-sabotage. You know, it's a house of hidden enemies, but oftentimes I find that we come to find out that we're our own hidden enemies in certain ways. And because it's such a karmic period right now as it begins, I would definitely say to try to purposely delve a little deeper into that 12th house stuff. You know, this could be just taking more time to yourself to quiet your mind. You know, the 12th house is a house of meditation. It's a house of isolation. You might just feel compelled to rest more and to sleep more. For general Pisces, that's a lot of how you guys cope with issues. It is certainly not a bad thing. The 12th house can also talk about addiction. So if you have issues, and it doesn't even have to be limited to addictions, but oftentimes the 12th house is some deep psychological, karmic stuff that we're going through. So either, you know, being in relationships with people with substance abuse, or you having issues with substance abuse. And a lot of it is our general coping mechanisms, because it is a house of escape. So it is how we handle getting away from normal, everyday, mundane life. The house adjacent, you, Pisces, being the 12th house ruler, Virgo being the 6th house ruler, which is the everyday, detail-oriented kind of life stuff. So Pisces are kind of known for escaping, but it's also, your cards are coming out very much this month, like very zen, like vibrations. So hopefully you guys are going to utilize a higher octave of that 12th house, maybe surrender a little bit more to mysticism and meditation and the occult, a little bit more releasing your mind and surrendering your worry, even, you know, practicing just normal manifestation stuff might really help you out this month. If it's not that, you might actually get lost in some good books, some poetry. You might find yourself extremely attuned to music this month, maybe hearing a song or an album that really kind of touches you emotionally in a way, kind of one of those albums that you stumble across and then you find yourself playing it over and over on repeat. Those kind of things can happen to you in the month of January. That could just be your general feeling throughout 2021. Now it's squaring your 3rd house of communication. So, like I said with the undoing, if there are things that you haven't healed, if you're still kind of trying to hold on or some sense of control over addictions in your life, 2021 is probably going to be the year when you ultimately lose control of that. Uranus being in the place where it's at, Ultimately, its intentions are to free you from oppression, to free you from the inability to be yourself, to live your path and your destiny. So sometimes things have to get unraveled. 12th house can represent loss. 3rd house can represent siblings, neighborhoods. You might be going through extensive amounts of transformation in your neighborhood. Some of you might live in areas that are being, somewhat really affected by the COVID or the politics or civil unrest in some way. These are themes that are going to kind of go on for all of 2021, so I wouldn't expect a big hit. However, I mention it because January is kind of the setup to this first square that happens in mid-February. Now, we have a lot of other stuff going on. We have some pretty powerful moons. We're closing out of eclipse season. As I'm doing this today, I believe Mercury is conjunct Pluto. And we have a lot of progress moving forward. Now, Mars is finally moving out of Aries. However, he's in a sign of his detriment, which is your 3rd house. So Uranus-Mars conjunction in your 3rd house can kind of, like I said, if you're irritated, if you're on edge, if you're in more of an anxious mindset, you could actually be somewhat explosive this month when it comes to communications. You might find yourself low patience, kind of snapping at people or confronting people, or find yourself really, really emotional. You might actually find yourself even in some ways a little bit what is the word I want to use? A little bit rebellious, hard to keep your thoughts to yourself. So you just want to be careful of that throughout this month as well. North Node still moving through your 4th house, which is a really nice placement for you guys because it really is about surrendering all of the control so that the universe can kind of get you on your path. Definitely karma here when we have a North Node in the 4th house, and it can oftentimes represent where we're recreating our childhood in some way. Could be through our children, it could be through memories, it could be that we're revisiting family, which could also represent the 3rd house. Having to deal with your siblings or your close cousins in your family are often represented by the 3rd house as well. So we have all of that going on. We have a big emphasis in your 11th house. So your friends and your groups, these people are going to be extremely important to you. Sun and Venus and a new moon with Mercury conjunct Pluto, all of this still going on in your 11th house. Tells me that if Pisces, you've gone through a period of walking away from groups of friends or people, or walking away from associations, you're moving on and finding the new things now, which is what we're all looking forward to in January. So you are coming out this month as the King of Cups. Like I said, there's definitely an element of you being super zen this month. I like that for you. You're in your element, you're in your water sign. Now, I do want to say when it came out like this. So that tells me that for some reason, security jumped out for me. There might be elements of January that has you stepping out of your comfort zone a little. Definitely have this as there might be moments, there might be something that you're doing or a project that you're working on, or maybe you're leaving a job or a relationship. And there's going to be moments where you're going to wonder if you could really do this on your own, King of Cups, do you have enough? Is there enough to provide? Like maybe you have a household or children, or maybe you're taking employees with you on your new business trip and you want to make sure that you have enough money to pay them. This is the kind of concerns that I feel coming from this King of Cups. Now, he wasn't fully in reverse. I don't feel him fully in reverse. So I don't think that that's actually what is occurring. I honestly think this is more or less you having to get comfortable feeling vulnerable. Now remember, again, back to that super zen place. This means that I think Pisces is going to have an innate ability to kind of call themselves. If you were slipping into anxiety or negative mindset, I think it will be all that much easier, probably because of what you've been through in 2020, probably because you've already learned the tricks. Remember, the universe kind of sets us on a path and it makes sure that we have all the tools that we need. Now, to me, your mental stability is one of those tools that have been sharpened all through 2020, right? So now is the time to put it to good use. Now you are coming out, your archetype for the month is that of the mystic. Again, super zen. This is about letting go of the 3D realities. This is about circumstances changing and priorities changing, materialism changing. The things that you once thought were important really aren't important anymore. So there's definitely a change and a transformation going on for you guys in a lot of different ways. Now, I do want to read that card to you really quickly. This is a new deck for me that someone gifted me. I absolutely love it, but I certainly don't want to skip any of the messages either. The mystic, the seeker, the light worker, and the dreamer. The mystic is often misunderstood in our culture, depicted as a wandering or lighthearted daydreamer. Yet, like Shiva, the true mystic plays a critical role in society, remaining fearlessly dedicated to the path of transformation. In order to save the earth from darkness, Shiva swallows the poison of the world and holds it in his throat, slowly transmuting the liquid into nectar. This is a work of the mystic. They do not fear darkness, but rather sit in the presence of it, harness the potential and latent energy behind it, and embedded it with light. They are patient and prudent change makers, seeking growth above all else. Unanswerable questions are the mystic's lifeblood. The mystic revels in mystery, in the great riddle of life, dancing with the forces of light and dark upon its wings. When in light, remover of darkness, visionary and ageless, but when in darkness, expects results, seeks attention and recognition. So yeah, definitely, like I explained, there's definitely a high vibration and a low vibration of this 12th house transit. I think most of you shouldn't have too many issues. This isn't a real hard place for Pisces because you're familiar with the 12th house energies. And you know that it has everything to do with your ability to let go. One second, I'm just going to take a quick sip of tea. Now, the first two cards out are the Eight of Cups and the Page of Wands. I really love this energy for you. It looks as though you're moving on or leaving something behind. Could be a relationship, could be a job, a career, friendships, associations, but definitely something that weighs heavy on your heart. Eight of Cups doesn't come out, when you're leaving a job that you absolutely hate, okay? This is usually heavy emotionally. There's a sadness, there's a regret, there's worry, there's leaving behind something that at least at one point you truly loved. Eight of Cups. At least at one point you thought was going to lead you to the Ten of Cups. And it's almost as if you're letting go of a lot of emotional baggage here. I like that the Page of Wands comes up next to it because it seems fearless. It seems like you're okay without the guarantees. Now, remember, I said this King of Cups came out kind of sideways to say that there will be moments this month when it doesn't seem all that easy. But seeing the Page of Wands here tells me that there will be incentives. There will be little things along the way to kind of continue to inspire you. Page of Wands is always a card of inspiration. It could oftentimes just represent, things kind of just going your way. If you're planning a big move or a job change, this is kind of like where you easily find the housing that you need, or, everything just kind of falls in place really easily with the Page of Wands. The reason is there's not a lot of expectations behind it. It comes from this place of curiosity, of passion, of a spark within you. Like I said, definitely following your intuition in a Page of Wands. So I think that you're headed towards something really positive and something new. And I like that Pisces seems to be kind of following their heart, wearing their heart on their sleeves. I always get the Leo vision when I see this Page of Wands. And it's almost as if you're willing to kind of step out. This could be exploratory, like really curious about finding other job, work, or employment. It could be a good mindset to have if you're going on a lot of job interviews. If you are braving the pandemic and attempting to meet new people at this time, it's also kind of a really great devil may care kind of attitude. It's not about worrying about what other people are going to think about you. Again, there's more of a curiosity to it. And you seem to be in a really confident, good place, which tells me you're not really in need of anything right now, okay? Now, I said the King of Cups was kind of, going to have moments of worry. But I think that you yourself are in a mental place where you're prepared for that. Like I said, I think that it will be easy for you to identify what is reality and what is just worry and anxiety this month. And every time that you can ground yourself, and that's coming, every time that you can kind of ground yourself and not allow yourself to get carried away, the better that you're going to do. A lot of January is about Saturn. These planets are answering to Saturn. We're all being kind of, there's a karmic timing about it. There is time to really be responsible, take control of our lives, do what's right for us, take better care of ourselves, make better decisions for ourselves. There's a lot of reckoning, and it's a very good time of year. It's not always this kind of astrological setup for January or starting a new year. But this particular year, because Saturn is so strong in our skies, it's actually a wonderful time to really do make those New Year's resolutions, make those lists, attempt to change the things that you don't like, be brave enough. Page of Wands could be somebody who's brave enough to go back to school or continue in education. This could be somebody that just wants to go and take acting classes or something for fun. But, it's wanting to move on, and that Eight of Cups is definitely about wanting to move on, just to grow, to expand in a lot of different ways, and it feels very exploratory. Now, the next two cards out are the Two of Cups and the Page of Pentacles. Again, like major emotional life moments followed up by these page energy, which means super low expectations. This is so perfect for my Pisces. So the Two of Cups and the Page of Pentacles definitely telling me that you're meeting somebody significant in your life. Now, it doesn't have to be a romantic partner. Maybe some of you are married or in a relationship and you're like, I'm not meeting anybody new. Well, it could certainly be a new friend or a new associate or a new coworker. It could be a new business partner coming in or somebody that wants to collaborate even on a creative project. Page of Pentacles. Definitely a warning. I don't want to say warning as if there's anything really negative about this. I don't really see a lot of negativity here. Page of Pentacles tells me it's something that is very grounded and rooted. Okay, now this might actually be somebody who wants to collaborate, who has been watching or observing you for some time. So again, if it's work related or anything like that, it tends to be sometimes with my Page of Pentacles, there's a period of observation. As well, things will be thought out and kind of methodical with this person. They may come off as really grounded, really slow. This person might be an earth sign, Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo. Now, the first oracle card out, which comes right above these two cards, is the new moon in Virgo, a time to give rather than take. Now, I like this because a lot of times the Two of Cups doesn't necessarily mean we have a new partnership coming in. Sometimes this is the alignment with self, and this is inevitably going to happen when you seem to be in such a zen place, understanding that things have to end in order to evolve, and understanding the whole death loss process of life itself, surrendering to the universe kind of bravely. I really like this because whether you're meeting somebody new or you're just coming into this extreme alignment with yourself, Page of Pentacles, it brings something to reality. Okay, so if you're trying to meet somebody new, or if you're just getting into a relationship, most likely this will grow. It may not grow fast. It's probably not super wand energy. It's probably much more practical, realistic. I will tell you, with this kind of energy, if you're meeting somebody new, maybe best not to jump into bed right away or do anything that maybe you wouldn't be comfortable with. I don't say that in a judging way. I say that because when this Page of Pentacles comes out, it tells me that this person might be might have some very high morals or values. And, you know, there's always a chance of judgment when I see a Page of Pentacles as well. And it doesn't even mean that they would judge you, more so that you might regret doing so, in fear that they would judge you. Okay, it's just kind of one of those sticky situations that you may be able to avoid. When I see the Page of Pentacles here, I am in tune to the fact that it is probably of high quality. Page of Pentacles, we have all of this Venus and Capricorn energy. It's really not all about the fuzzy, you know, love stuff. And it's really not all about the sex stuff. I mean, right now, we're kind of in this mentality of what's good for our future, what's the bigger picture. So we're probably not going to be attracted to or looking for like exciting one-night stands or anything like that. It just tells me that we're kind of in this mindset of high quality people that we want. Now, we've gone through a process of kind of sorting through the people that weren't high quality. So obviously we wouldn't waste the time bringing more of those kind of personalities in. As well, we've done so much growth over the past several months that if we have raised our vibration, it means that we're going to be attracting higher quality personalities to us. Now, the warning sign is the King of Pentacles. Oh, I should also say this Page of Pentacles can signify a proposal of some sort. I'm sorry, I'm getting a couple more messages here. Could signify a proposal of some sort or advancing a commitment in some way. So maybe making it official, moving in together, introducing each other to your family, like the next logical step. Definitely moving in together or something like that, especially because there's a Two of Cups with a Pentacles. It can oftentimes mean a joint resource. So maybe you're buying a car or a house or something together, or merging your money in some way. And it could also be setting goals financially for your future. Like maybe you do get engaged and then you want to have a talk about how you're going to save for the wedding or something like that. As well, the Page of Pentacles means that this person can be a little bit younger than you. There could be an age difference. And the way that I'm seeing this flow, for some of you, there could be an element of feeling your age for a while. Maybe 2020 kind of took the adventure out of you. You were starting to feel older and stagnant, and it looks like you'll begin to open up, you know, in January to some new adventures. And maybe the things that you've been manifesting really do start to come to fruition into 3D, like those opportunities start to become real. You know, if you've been looking for travel opportunities or anything like that, like those emails might start coming back. Things might actually start to get scheduled. Page of Pentacles is often a promise that something, a physical reality, a seed that was planted will begin to sprout, okay? Now, the next oracle card out is All That Glitters, number 16, breaking down to a 7, and under that is the King of Wands. And this is another element of me explaining to you about that not wanting to like jump into bed with somebody first, or, you know, whatever new situations you're inviting into your life, it's best to take it slow, and it's best to kind of take it seriously. The King of Wands can oftentimes be that initiating energy of Aries, of kind of, there's a lot of ambition and determination to go in one direction, but sometimes when we're so inclined, we might be missing pieces of the puzzle. Now, you got to be super careful here, because at the end of the month, we are looking at a retrograde Mercury. These retrograde Mercuries are going to be much different, especially for you. They are no longer going to be taking place in water signs. For all of 2021, retrograde Mercury will now be in air signs. So yes, it will be a little bit easier on you. However, we're going to go back to more traditional retrograde Mercuries. So this is going to be a lot more about not signing those contracts if you can avoid it, or, you know, hiring lawyers or real estate agents or professionals in any way that can kind of overlook documents for you if you can. If you are looking at moving into with each other, maybe put it off for a month, you know, especially if it's a new relationship. Just do what you can to keep things, you know, a little bit more grounded, and set things up to slowly grow over time. If you're starting to get to know somebody or starting to date somebody new, definitely take this slow. You'll be grateful that you do, and it will pay back in dividends. Now, these two cards up here, a time to give rather than take, new moon in Virgo, and all that glitters, is really all about your contribution, right? It's about surrendering the need for materialism. So when I see a Page of Pentacles, you might be attracted to, or there might be a job offer even that isn't up to your status per se. So maybe it's somebody who's much younger than you, who's still in school and doesn't have a lot of money. Or maybe this is a job offer where it's a job of your dreams, but it's kind of a little bit more of a charitable work than something that can realistically pay the bills. Same thing, if you're looking to start your own company or your own project, or kind of make a hobby into something more lucrative. Do the small methodical things, work it out, do everything legally. Okay, when Saturn is in the sky, you want to make sure that you have your permits and, you know, whatever it is that you need in order to start things up. But it will happen. It will happen. Actually, it will feel like you're taking the long way, but it will happen rather fast in hindsight. Now, your likely outcome is the Ace of Cups. So this is definitely emotional abundance. This is definitely requited love. This is fulfillment. There's really nothing negative that you could take from this card. Ace of Cups is a promise of a new opportunity in love. So if you are ultimately looking for a proposal or taking a commitment to the next level, I think you're going to feel a lot of fulfillment and joy and happiness. Overall energy is that of the Strength card and the Nine of Wands. See, you're really close. You're much closer than you think. You're much closer to finding that right person, finding that right job, understanding your destiny. Like, there's a lot going on here. High Priestess. You're definitely going to be in a place of following your gut and listening to your instincts for sure. Your intuition is going to pay off big time this month. But with that Strength and the Nine of Wands, it's really all about that Saturn energy, those boundaries. Setting those boundaries, knowing what's right for you in the long run, not chasing after things that promise instant results, or I don't know. I kind of want to give the example of, you know, like trying one of those silly diet programs that you know are not likely to work, or actually like putting in the work and doing, you know, all of the things we hate to do in order to lose weight. You know, you kind of know you have to be disciplined to do the right things. It's not about shortcuts. It's not about instant gratification. It's not about the material, and it's not what it's, you know, it's not about what it can do for you. These relationships are not about what these people can do for you. Definitely with this, and also reminder, Virgo is your 7th house, so it's a house of partners. It might be, you might be meeting somebody where it might be time to give back, time to care for others in a way. You know, karmically, you might find yourself in a position where you can help others. Now, of course, it would never, the universe wouldn't make that a strain for you. But if you're in a position where that would be easy to do, and that could be something even as much as time. I mean, that could just be spending time with your kids or your grandchildren or nieces and nephews, or, you know, just really giving of yourself and living from a kind place. And that will pay back so much for you in January. All right, Pisces, I'm going to leave it there. I hope that you have a wonderful January. I'll be back soon for the mid-months, and I'll see you then. Take care. Bye.